The
This
recording.
conference will now be recorded.
So in this demo session, I'm going to talk about entire SAP Analytics so that you come to know about different components within the SAP and usage of each component or objective of each component. And after completion of this demo session, you will be in a position to choose the right component for you. And I can say you will be in a confusion also after completion of this demo session, what to choose and what not to choose. But talk to me after completion of this demo session. I'm going to give the clarity what you have to choose based on your background. Okay, fine. So I'm talking about SAP Analytics here. And in SAP world, we have a lot of analytics and we will go through different analytical systems, and later on I would like to elaborate the objective and usage of each analytical tool or system. Then where these analytical systems stands within SAP world, and how these can be useful, and career perspective, how these tools are going to be useful, and what kind of roles and responsibilities you are going to do as part of SAP consultant when you are working with these tools. Okay, so let's get started with SAP Analytical and SAP Analytical Systems. So we have a first tool called SAP BW, and we simply call this one as Business Warehouse. And second tool is SAP BI, and the old name is Vivo. We call this one as Business Intelligence. And the next tool is SAP HANA, and it's a database, and HANA is having a very big full form. So I don't want to come up with, okay, let me give, this is stands for high performance analytical appliance. And the next tool would be SAP BODS. The latest name is SAP BODS is old name. So whenever you see BO, then you can consider that one as a old name. So this is nothing but your data service. And we do have one more tool, SAP BPC. BPC stands for Business Planning and Consolidation. And we do have finally one more tool, SAC. And this is very new tool, and it's a cloud-based application. This is, stands for SAP Analytics Cloud. So these many different applications we have, which comes under SAP Analytics. Okay. So what tools you need to choose and why we need to choose? SAP BW, it is a data warehousing application. SAP BIBO, this is reporting tool I can say, or it can be a reporting application. SAP HANA, it's a database, and along with the database, it is going to act as a data warehousing solution also. We have SAP DS, the ETL application, and it is useful for extracting the data from one application and updating the data into another application. This is one of the component within S, EPM, Enterprise Performance Management, and especially useful for generating strategic report. It's a planning tool. You can plan your business and whether according to your plans, whether your business is running or not. Those kind of strategic reporting you can do. And if your business is running in different places, in different countries, and if you want to consolidate the data which is coming from different countries, and if you want to do currency conversion, and finally if you want to present the report in one currency, that is nothing but kind of a consolidation. If you want to do those cases, we can go for SAP B. And finally we have something called SAP SAC, and again this is a reporting tool, but this is a cloud-based reporting tool. I can say this reporting tool is on premises and old reporting tool. Now SAP come up with a new version of SAP BIBO, and it is a cloud-based reporting solution, and that reporting solution is nothing but SAC. So here you are seeing data warehousing applications, reporting tools, databases, ETL applications, and strategic reporting tool and reporting tool which is works based on the cloud. So these many components we have which are comes under SAP Analytics. In SAP world, if you want to do the analytics in the sense which is nothing but analyzing the data. If you want to analyze the data in SAP world, you can use a different SAP analytical tools. These are your analytical tools. Okay, fine. I'll start with SAP BW. As I told you, it's a data warehousing solution. Data warehousing in the sense it consists three services: ETL service plus database service plus reporting service. When you combine all three services, then we are going to call that one as a data warehousing application. SAP BW is a complete data warehousing application where you are going to see ETL services within the SAP BW and database services so that SAP BW can store the data, and we can have reporting services so that it can start generating the reports. So final objective of any data warehousing solution is consolidate business data from different systems and model the data and generate the reports according to the business management requirement. So in corporates or in businesses, they do run business transactions using different OLTP, online transactional processing system. Say like you have a corporate company called Reliance, they are running SAP ECC to run the business, and they are using Oracle applications also to run the business, and say they are using IBM mainframes also to do the business. So they are generating the business data in different applications. Now, if you want to have enterprise level corporate reporting, then what we can do, we can bring the data from all these applications into single application. So this is nothing but extracting the data from different applications to single application. And that application is going to be data warehousing application, and it could be your SAP BW. SAP BW is going to act as a data hub for the corporates. If you are running the business using different applications, then you can bring the data from those applications and you can store the data in a single application, which is nothing but data warehousing. So in order to store the data within this data warehousing application, obviously you can have a database. So BW is an application. It is going to use a backend database in order to store the data. Then on top of it, we do have that reporting tool which comes along with the BW in order to generate the report. Okay, these VEX reports later on can be consumed using BI and SAC. So try to understand. I'm talking about different things here. Okay, now you have ERP applications or OLTP applications which are useful for running the business processes in the companies. Then business data will be generated. This data has to be transferred into SAP BW. So in order to transfer the data, we do have extraction process. It can be done using ETL tool. So your data services will come and sit here, BODS. So what is the use of BODS? I'm talking about SAP BW, but whenever we are using SAP BW, the BW has to pick up the information. BW has its own extractors to pick up the data, but whenever we are going to pick up the data from non-SAP systems, then the BW cannot pick up the data from the non-SAP system. In those cases, we can use BODS. Okay, so BODS can use, or the data services can use, to pick up the data from source systems to BW system. Then we need to store the data. So we do have databases here. In SAP world, yes, we do have a database, SAP HANA. So SAP BW application can use HANA as a database. I'm talking about SAP BW. Other tools are coming now along with the SAP BW. So for SAP BW, SAP DS can act as a ETL tool and HANA can act as a database. And once you have data model in SAP BW, using VEX reporting tool, you can start generating the reports. And on top of it, you can use BI and you can use SAC. So now you can understand what is the relationship in between all these. So nowadays, if any BW application you have to support, then every company is looking for a consultant with the multiple skill sets. I know only BW, then your resume won't get screened. The reason is that BW system may contain HANA as a database. In those cases, the companies will look for SAP BW skill set along with HANA skill set also. And I know BW with VEX reporting. If that company is using BI or SAC as a reporting solutions, then immediately the skill set will vary. So companies will look for the consultant who can handle BW along with HANA and BI and SAC. And in order to extract the data, you can use BW. In special cases, sometimes in company's architecture, you're going to see BODS also. So BODS, if they are using, then the skill set may vary. They look for a candidate who is having multiple skill sets. They'll mention like if BODS is with this skill set, then that would be recommended. Okay, like that they are going to change the JD. So whatever analytical tools we have, all these are interconnected. In few projects, you are going to see only BW, and without HANA, without BA and SAC, and without BODS. Like I do have a customer, they are using SAP ECC as operational system, and for reporting purpose, they are using SAP BW. In this case, what happens? They do not have any third-party applications apart from SAP ECC. So no need to go for BODS. Your BW can act as ETL tool in this scenario, and the BEX can act as a reporting solution. If they don't using BA and SAC, then BEX is used as a reporting solution. This is a very simple BW project where SAP ECC is a single source system. Using BW, you can do ETL, and using BW, you can do the modeling. And here you have Oracle is acting as a database. Here, no need to learn about HANA also. HANA modeling requirements not at all needed. So this is very simple BW project where you needed only BW skill set. Sometimes, along with SAP ECC, you need to bring the data from non-SAP systems also, and the client-side architect proposed to use SAP DS to bring the data into SAP BW. And your database is still Oracle, and your reporting solution is BEX only. In this case, the consultants should know BW with BOS. It's totally depends on the project budget. Sometimes they do prefer a single consultant with both skill sets, and sometimes they do prefer two consultants, one guy with BW and another guy with BOTS. So this is totally depends on the project budget. Okay. So here, if they are preferring a single consultant, then the consultant should know BW as well as BOTS. In few cases, you have SAP ECC and non-SAP application and SAP BW acting as a data warehouse information. And here, HANA is acting as a data. In order to pick up the data from the non-SAP, we required SAP TS. And here, BW is using non-SAP database. BW is using non-SAP database, then these BW systems are known as legacy BW, okay, or classic BW systems. Here, the database knowledge is not at all required. If BW systems are using HANA as a database, then these systems are known as BW on HANA. So if you're working in BW on HANA, Then you needed BW skill set plus HANA skill set. Okay, and the text is a reporting tool here again. Now you required BW skill set as well as HANA skill set, and along with that, they may ask for SAP DS also. It is very hard to acquire all these skill sets, right? In these projects, you can see multiple consultants, one guy with BW plus HANA and another guy with HANA plus BOTS. So whenever the companies plan for the resources, they do plan something like this. One guy with BW with HANA, another guy with HANA with. So here we do generate the reports on top of the BW models, and even we do generate the reports on top of the HANA model also. So when we start generating the reports on top of the HANA model, you should have HANA database and data warehousing knowledge. If you are generating the reports on top of the BW, then the HANA BW modeling information you should know. So in these kind of projects, you should know BW as well as HANA. Okay. And if you have non-SAP as a sources, then we required SAP DS also. In certain projects, you are going to see all these. And along with these, sometimes you are going to see BO and SAC, these two as reporting tools on top of the text reports. It could be funny here why we required another reporting tool, although we have a reporting tool called BEX here. Okay, so these are more sophisticated and latest generation reporting tools when compared to BEX. So bursting and the scheduling can be easily possible using SAC and BO. And because of that reason, in certain projects, once you generated BEX reports, these BEX reports are going to act as sources for BO and. So this is a kind of a complex project where you can see almost all the analytical components within the project. So in these kind of projects, you can see multiple consultants and one guy for SAC especially, and another guy with this skill set, and one more guy with HANA. It goes something like this. Another guy with BW plus BOD. So for backend, we have specific consultants, and for front end, we have specific consultants. So these type of BW projects you are going to see. I'm still talking about BW, and while talking about BW, I'm just talking about the other components also where these components stands within the BW. So if you look at this picture, for BW, HANA is going to act as a database, and BODS is going to act as ETL tool, and BI and SSE is going to act as a reporting solution. Now, till now, I didn't discuss about BPC. The reason is it is again act as an analytical solution, but this is useful especially for different scenarios. Okay, so I'm going to discuss about BPC later on. So this is your BW. So if you are learning BW, then in BW, as I told, it's a data warehousing solution. Every data warehousing solution talk about three things. One is how to extract the data, and second one is how to model, and third one is how to report. So if you are learning BW, then the main goal would be how to extract the data from different diverse sources to SAP. Here we are going to talk about extraction portion. and how to bring the data into BW using BW extractor. Especially, you can see BW extractors in SAP components. So using those extractors, how to bring the data into BW. Not only that, BW can interface with even non-SAP applications also and web applications also. And already a different type of sources were created in SAP BW. So using those different connectivity options, we can start bringing the data into BW. And next one is modeling. Once you bring the data into the BW, then you need to create the models. And these models are going to act as sources for your reports. So cubes and DSO objects, and we do have info objects. So creation of all these, and once you create these, on top of it, using Bex reporting tool, we are going to generate the reports. So as part of your curriculum, you are going to learn all these, and you are going to see all these in classic BW and in BW on HANA, and we do have the latest one, BW for HANA. So this is a roadmap for your BW. So till 2011, we do have BW starting from 1997 to 2011. Later on, we have systems 2012 to till date. Okay, still we do have these kind of systems. So till date, we can say BW on HANA, and SAP is not creating any BW classic versions at this moment. They shifted to new generation BW for HANA starting from 2016 onwards. We do have BW for HANA. So these are classic and classic on HANA DB, and this is nothing but the new generation BW application newly created by SAP from scratch, and it was released in 2016. So I can see this is latest and greatest, and prior to this we have BW on HANA, that we do have classic. I started my journey in classic BW. Later on, I worked on BW on HANA. At this moment, I'm still working on BW on HANA, but I'm the version called BW for HANA. Few of my friends and colleagues, they are working on BW for HANA. So whenever we are learning BW, then we need to learn all three. Okay, so this is your old solution. This is, I can call it as interim solution, and this is latest solution. Okay, fine. So this is about BW, and once we start BW, that time I'm going to discuss what is BW on HANA, and what is BW for HANA, and roadmap of BW, and what we really needed in order to learn BW, and where BW stands. I already discussed where BW stands here, but I'm going to discuss again where BW stands one more time. Okay. So what is the difference between these versions, BW versus BW on HANA, and BW on HANA versus BW for HANA? Okay. So these three are three different terms, but all three are talking about BW. Fine. Okay. So if you are planning to learn BW, then we are going to see how to extract the data, how to model the data, and how to generate the reports. So finally, in BW, you have to generate the reports according to the business needs. So business people are going to give you reporting requirements, and you need to achieve it through BW application. Okay, fine. So this is about BW. So second tool is SAP BIBO. Let's discuss about SAP BIBO. This is a reporting tool from SAP. Say like you have Oracle application. Then you would like to have reports from this Oracle application. So what you can do, you can use SQL to develop the reports. And writing SQL is always challenging, and sometimes you may end up with very big SQL statements to generate the reports. So in order to generate the reports without using SQL, then what we can do, this Oracle application contains the database, right? Using reporting tools, you can connect to that database and you can start generating the reports. Here, you really don't require any SQL. You can skip the SQL and you can start generating the reports. So main objective of a reporting tool is nothing but generate the reports using tools where you can skip the SQL. So you can skip the SQL and you can start generating the report. So these reporting tools not only works on the databases, these works on data warehousing solutions also. We already know SAP BW is a data warehousing solution. So if you have data presented in the database or data warehousing solution or any sort of application, those applications can connect with reporting tools, and using reporting tool options, you can start generating the reports. So because of that reason, you have a database. On top of the database, you can start generating the reports. Okay, and you have a BW, data warehousing application. On top of the data warehousing also, you can start generating the reports. So I can say like on top of the BW also, you can directly start generating the reports. Yes, but it will follow a certain route because of us different uh, calculations we can do at BEX level itself. So first we do generate the BEX report. On top of it, we do generate the SAC report or BO report. Now I'm talking about only BO. BO is a reporting tool and it can interact with any sort of application or a database or a data warehousing solution, and we can pick up the table and we can connect the tables and we can start generating the reports. Okay, BIBO is going to use again a tool called ID for modeling. If you want to model or if you want to join multiple tables and if you want to create a semantic layer, it's possible within the reporting tools. So what is BIBO? It's a reporting tool so that you can start generating reports. So you can read the data from the databases and you can start presenting the data according to the customer need. So we do have a list of reporting tools here, and I'm going to talk about reporting tools while discussing SAP HANA. Now we have third analytical tool, which is nothing but SAP HANA. SAP HANA primarily is known as a database, memory database from SAP, and it can act as a data warehousing application also, just like your BW. So databases are useful for storing the data. You can use HANA to store the data. Say like if you are using any application and for that application you need to have a database. Obviously, every application needed a database. In those cases, you can opt for SAP HANA. Otherwise, you can use this one as a sidecar and you can have SAP HANA as a data warehousing solution. So again, just like BW, if you have SAP applications or non-SAP applications, Then you can extract the data and you can place the data in HANA application. And here again, you can do modeling, and on top of it, you can start generating the report. And here you can use BI and SAP and Tableau. And you can have other reporting tools also, and you can use Cognos and MS BI and Power BI. So you can use all these reporting tools in order to generate the reports on top of the HANA. So in HANA, also, if you're learning HANA as a data warehousing solution, then we have to do extract into HANA system, and we have to do modeling within the HANA system. Then later on, reporting. So if you go back and see in HANA, you're going to do three activities. And in BW, we are going to do all three activities. In BO, it's a different story. You're going to do modeling and reporting only, and you're not going to do the extraction. Okay. For modeling purpose, SAP BI BO is going to use one more tool called IDD. Okay. Fine. So this is HANA, and in HANA we have two versions, HANA 1.0 and HANA 2.0. And HANA can be used as a database, and it can use as a data warehousing application. So you can do BI and you can do strategic reporting, in the sense predictive analytics also. I would like to use as predictive analytics. So HANA is so powerful. It cannot be act as a single solution. It can act as a multiple solution, like it has multiple facets. It can act as a database, and it can act as a data warehousing application, and it can be useful for simple reporting. And if you want to predict the future data, yes, it is possible. We do have data science solutions, right, where you can see a lot of algorithms and you can start predicting the future data. So all these capabilities we do have within the HANA. So HANA can predict the future data, and it can act as a platform also, so that you can start building your own analytical application or any business applications also you can build. So as part of HANA curriculum, we are going to see this portion, how HANA can use as a data warehousing application. Okay. Within the HANA itself, you have several training modules, like development on HANA, modeling on HANA, and we do have something called application development on HANA, and predictive analytics using HANA. So many different training solutions we have. So I'm not going to talk about all those for now, but we are going to talk about HANA active data warehousing solution. Okay, fine. So once we are done with SAP HANA, the next one is I think ODS. This is a ETL tool. Now, this particular ETL tool is useful. Okay, like you have two applications. One application is having data, and this data needed for another application. In these cases, what we can do in order to transfer the data from one application to another application, we are going to use ETL. And using these ETL tools, we can clean the data so that whatever data is really required for this application. The data only we can transfer, and we can even do some quality checks and a lot of transformations we can do according to the target system requirement. And finally, we can update the data to the final target system. So ETL tools are useful for transferring the data. So whenever there is a migration, say like the data transfer from one system to another system, especially if you want to transfer the data on daily basis and based on job scheduling, if you want to transfer the data, in those cases, we opt for SAP BOTS. Is SAP data warehousing systems, if it is HANA or if it is SAP BW, in both cases, we need to have extraction. Yes, we do extract the data from SAP and non-SAP applications to HANA applications. So obviously BODS will come here. So we can bring the data from SAP and non-SAP through BODS, and we will update the data into HANA. So if you want to bring the data from non-SAP or SAP applications to SAP HANA, you can use BODS. And here also, if you want to bring the data, I can say even from ECC, you can bring the data using BODS or SAP DS. But most of the time, SAP BW can suffice the requirements. If SAP BW is not fulfilling the requirements, then we can even bring the data using the DS. BODS and SAP DS both are same. So this is use of BODS. So the target application it could be SAP BW and SAP HANA, and your source application it could be SAP or any third-party databases like mainframe application or any third-party databases like Oracle. Okay, fine. This is use of BODS. Then using BODS, you cannot start generating the reports, but it can act as a source for your reporting tool. Like you can bring the data from Oracle and SQL databases to SAP BODS, and within the BODS, you can have one more database called HANA. And using this tool, you can pick up the information and you can start storing the data in HANA DB, which is part on top of it. You can see BODS as an application. And once you have HANA DB on top of it, you can start generating the reports using BI. So in this fashion also, the BODS can be useful. It can use as only extraction purpose. Here, it can act as extraction as well as staging. And on top of the staging data, you can start generating the reports. Here, especially, we are doing the consolidation after transforming the data and storing the data. Okay, this is use of your BODS. I don't recommend learning BODS at this moment. The reason is it's a kind of an old tool, and the new job opportunities you are going to see with this tool is going to be lesser. The reason is the SAP strategy is going in a direction they don't want two different applications like OLTP and OLJP applications. These are your OLTP and these are your OLJP applications. Nowadays, they would like to combine everything into single application, and they are calling that one as S4 HANA. So once S4 HANA implementation started, then we do have embedded analytics come into the picture. When I'm saying embedded analytics, then in those cases, the data transfer is not at all needed. So if data transfer is not at all needed, then BODS usage is absolutely negligible. Because of that reason, I don't recommend this particular tool at this moment. And here we have SAP BIBO, and this is old reporting solution, and this is going to be replaced with a new reporting solution called SAC. For a new generation, I don't recommend SAP BIBO. Instead of learning SAP BIBO, you can learn a new generation reporting tool called SAC. So here, my recommendation would be, yes, as a backend, you should know BW as well as HANA, and as a front end, it is always better to know SAC. Okay, let's talk about SAP PPC. I don't want to concentrate much on PPC. Reason is that this is a kind of module you required the functional as well as technical skill set. If you are familiar with BW and if you are familiar with HANA and if you are familiar with functionalities. Functionalities in the sense, if you are familiar with FI, ESD, and say HR. So you are going to build a strategic reporting. So for that, you needed some functional knowledge, and you are going to use the data from BW and HANA. The data flows into BPC application from BW and HANA. Because of all these reasons, you should learn BPC after learning these. So this is a kind of initial skill set, I can say. After completing all these skill sets, you can go for BPC. SAP BPC consultants are highly paid consultants in SAP world. They are going to charge more, the consulting wise. The only reason is the person should know BW, HANA, and the functional knowledge also. If the person know all these things, then only he can fit into BPC. So this is a kind of a solution where it is going to give you strategic report, and especially it is going to do the comparison in between plan versus actual. So if you look at any BPC reports, especially planning reports, you're going to see the comparison between the plan and actuals, so that according to the plans, whether we are achieving the actuals or not, we will come to know. And later on, digging into the data, we can start doing analysis where we miss, and based on that, you can come up with the decisions. So strategic reports are really useful for companies where they do planning. Okay, and we do have different versions here, and BPC 10.1 and BPC 11 and 11.1. So we have again classic BPC, and we do have embedded BPC. But we need to have prerequisites in order to learn this. For the rest of the other modules, you don't require any prerequisites. Okay. The next module is SAC. This is just like your other reporting tool, BIBO, but BIBO consists a lot of other reporting tools within it, the suite. And SAP SAC is a dynamic reporting tool which is on cloud and can handle so many things. BI and planning and dashboards and kind of analytical application. So it's a cloud-based reporting tool. Here you can create business intelligence reports. So whatever we do in BPC, again we can do here, and instead of dashboard, I would like predictive analytics. So the future predictive analytics also you can do on SAC, and the analytical apps and complex dashboard. So SAP is betting very big on SAC. The only reason it can do business intelligence reporting just like HANA and BW, and it can do planning just like BPC. It can do predictive analytics just like HANA. And if you want to create analytical applications or complex dashboards, yes, it is possible through SAC. Now, it can replace BO. Certain functionalities of BW and HANA can be replaced using SAC, and BPC planning functionalities can be replaced, and HANA predictive analytics can be replaced, and the Mira and Design Studio complex dashboards creation can be replaced. So this particular tool is emerging. I can see it is only 2 years old. It was released. It was a very new tool, and it is going to run on SAP Cloud. And this reporting tool is going to play a vital role in coming years. Okay, and nowadays all SAP consultants who are part of analytics, they are learning SAP SAC, and I'm also learning SAP SAC, and I'm almost done. And after completion of certain POCs, I'm going to conduct SAC training sessions also. I'm aiming to conduct these training sessions from November onwards. Okay, so SAC is one of the reporting tools you can choose, and BPC at this moment I do not recommend. BODS at this moment I do not recommend, but if you are planning to learn any one of these two, please let me know. I can arrange for you. SAP HANA, yes, I'm the faculty for SAP HANA, and I'm going to teach SAP HANA, and where I'm going to talk about extraction, which is nothing but data provisioning in SAP HANA, and modeling as well as reporting. And we do have SAP BIBO. No need to concentrate at this moment, but we are going to cover a bit of SAP BIBO when we are learning SAP HANA. SAP BW, yes, this is a kind of very core and old analytical solution, and this you should learn for sure. The reason is 24,000 customers are using this SAP. So if you are applying for any job, then in most of the cases in SAP Analytics, they do look for SAP BW skill set. And most of the consultants, I'm sorry, most of the customers are using SAP BW as analytical solution along with HANA. So this is one of the most important skill set you should acquire. First BW, then HANA, then SAC. This is going to be your roadmap. BW, HANA, SAC. Otherwise, you can do HANA first, then BW, then SAC. So only problem is if you're doing HANA, you don't like BW. Okay, later on. If you learn BW first, then you will enjoy HANA, then you can have SAC. It's totally depends on the individual. I don't want to comment much, but these are the three skill sets you can learn: BW, HANA, and SAC. So BW latest version, BW for HANA, and HANA 2.0, and these are the skill sets you should know. Okay, so this is your first demo, and a lot of new terms you might have heard. So a bit of confusion, I know. I introduced so many new tools, and I introduced so many new terms or technical terms for you. Initially, it may give you a bit of confusion, but this is what we have in SAP within the analytics. So every analytical consultant should know about all these tools, and the expertise level, yes, you should get here, here, and here. And in your journey, okay, in your professional journey, you can start adding the skill sets according to your project requirement. In your project, if you have BPC, at that particular point of time, try to acquire that skill set according to the customer requirements. You need to acquire this. Okay, so I'm done with demo and stopping the recording.